Oh, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, of course. I've been looking forward to this all week. And it's not just because of Lindsay Lohan,
Oh, but who wouldn't want to watch Lindsay Lohan all week?
but who wouldn't? Exactly. Okay, I have a Phantom of the Opera story for you.
Love it. I
Are
want to
you
hear it.
ready? Okay.
I've never been readier.
So we were a big musical theater family, and like Phantom of the Opera was one of the CDs I would put on so that I could like dance vacuum the house when I was like 6 or something.
Of course.
And we went on, I think we were in San Francisco. Like we met because my family lived in Hawaii at that point and we were in Oregon. So we would like meet in San Francisco sometimes. And there was a Phantom of the Opera show. And my mom didn't tell me about it because I guess there were only 2 tickets. And the person who asked her was like, "Will you come?" And she was like, "Yes, but it will absolutely break my child's heart."
The betrayal.
I
The betrayal. Oh my God.
know. So I like drove with her to the place. I was like in the back seat. And then we come up to the theater and I'm like, "Oh my God!"
I'm going to Phantom of the Opera.
Like it's Christine. Oh my God. And I did find out my mom was going without me, and I cried
Oh,
all the way home.
oh my God. I was really hoping that story had a twist ending where she was like, I can't do it.
No.
I'm going to send you in.
Mm-mm, no,
Wow.
there was
Wow.
no twist ending. The twist is I got to see it when I was in high school in New York. So, there's that.
No, this is the story. This is the story where phantoms are made, Like we
It's
asked why
true.
Phantom lives in the basement and he's like really bitter and weird. This is why.
This is
Because his
why.
mom didn't take him to see the show
It's
and went
true.
go see herself.
I hope you heard this, Mom.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. You
Hmm.
turned me into the Phantom of the Opera. Look at me.
Exactly.
I'm in my blanket fort right now. My
Look
blanket
what you
fort
did.
sound booth.
This is all because of Phantom of the Opera. Your trauma is
True.
being processed right here, right
It's
now.
true. Oh my God. But seriously, like that soundtrack is still something that like it just like hits me on a visceral level.
Hmm.
And it seems like you're a little bit into it too.
Oh God, yeah. That and Beauty and the Beast imprinted on me pretty hardcore.
Ooh.
And so,
Ooh.
needless to say, I decided why not write a romance novel about my favorite melodramatic extra little creepy dude living in the basement. Don't we all love
Yeah.
that?
Kidnapping is a love language in both.
It
Amazing.
is, don't we all want that from a guy living in the basement?
God, I love a
Um,
fictional kidnap. Ugh.
Love it. Actually, I decided to just make update mine for the modern era. So
Ooh.
mine is my Phantom is actually a woman. She's still
Yes.
creepy and melodramatic and weird, but she's kind of hot too. I
I
mean,
mean,
the Phantom's hot,
obviously.
but it's even hotter when a girl does it. Not to,
Yeah.
be gender specific, but
There's something about that feminine energy, no matter what body it's
yes,
walking in.
yeah, she really owns living in that sex dungeon basement with her rats.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm into it.
Yes.
And is the hero a performer as well?
He is. So the Christine Day ingenue is
Oh.
Christoph, a German hair metal rock star who is quite innocent. He's only ever been with one woman, his ex-girlfriend of 10 years, who was coincidentally the bassist for their band, and she is fucked off before the story's begun, and he hasn't told the rest of the band that he's been dumped, and he decided to rent out this dilapidated opera house in a town called Paris outside of Vegas.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist. And Erica's living in this basement. She's renting out the house because the evil casino developer Raoul wants to tear it down and build a water park. It's actually very realistic, very, very set in our current world.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I
There's
hear
midnight
that.
singing lessons and risque visits in the costume closets and pipe organ performances that very, very X-rated.
I love it. Oh my God, I love it. So I'm on record on the podcast as saying that you don't fuck the lead singer, you fuck the bassist.
Yes.
Now I have to say, there's nothing like getting your heart broken by a bassist.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it's worse if it's the drummer, because then it's just kind
That's
of
true.
like you lowered your standards and then they're still dumping you. Nothing against drummers, but
Drummers everywhere are shaking their fists right now.
but it's the perfect beat.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm really stoked about Midnight Duet. I think I requested an arc on NetGalley, but I can't remember. Oh, I've been super stoked about it. And the cover is gorgeous.
I know the cover artist, we he couldn't find good art of a pipe organ. I guess there's just not a lot out there.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately. So he drew everything on the cover by hand, including like the sexy negligee draped over the pipe
Ah,
organ and Christoph's guitar. It's beautiful.
yeah, yeah. And it's so colorful and vibrant. Ooh.
Yes, we were inspired by a lot of hair metal albums. So it's basically like Andrew Lloyd Webber hair metal meets
Yes.
actual like Scorpions hair metal. So it's very
Oh,
over the top.
oh my gosh. Yeah, like all of this is hitting my id. It's just like bam, 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 Melody's
This
id.
whole book is just like vibes and sex scenes. It was written like
Mm.
deep in the pandemic when I was like, you know what? We don't actually need a plot. This is Phantom of the Opera. We know what the plot is. Let's just go with it.
I love it. Oh my God. All right. Well, we got to talk Christmas times now. It's Christmas. Or is it?
Absolutely.
Is it Christmas or is it ski times in this
It,
movie?
it's like a very special brand of Christmas where it's just like all about the aesthetic. It's like a this movie was a vibe and I loved it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Loved the vibes.
Yeah. Most definitely. Lindsay Lohan was bringing it.
Oh my God, was she? Ugh, bringing it
Yeah.
back, Lindsay.
Yeah. Okay. So we come in and it's skiing times, everyone. There's gondolas, there's mountains, there's, snow and shit that I usually try to avoid. And Lindsay Lohan wakes up in a like luxury hotel room. She's got a silk eye mask on. And like, I don't know if this was super relatable to you, Jen, but like that's how I sleep. I sleep
Oh,
flat on
yes,
my
full
back,
makeup.
full makeup, perfectly coiffed.
Hmm.
Hair has recently been curled.
Yes.
And there are no um like sheet marks on my face. You know what I mean? Like there's no creases that you can see
Not
on
with
my
sheets
face.
that expensive. No, I mean,
It's
that's what you
true.
pay top dollar for is for like completely unlined face.
It's true. It's true. So she is a hotel magnate's daughter, and he has flown her out to Aspen,
Yeah,
like
it's
the
not.
equivalent.
I spent the whole movie trying to figure out where this place was because at one point the love interest mentors Hoosier, and then I'm like, where the hell is Hoosier?
What?
I feel like I should know that, it's marking me as like a Portland girl who doesn't get out to the
A Hoosier is
country.
like, oh, here we go. A Hoosier is like an Iowa or an Indiana. I can't remember
Yeah,
which one, but it's one of those.
I know. So I thought this was like really posh, but I mean, I'm not trying to say that Iowa isn't posh. I just
No, no,
thought that
no.
it was like
We would never, Iowa. We would never come for you like that.
I'm not Iowa. No, I know you have ski resorts like this.
Absolutely.
I was not aware you had that many mountains, but I have so much respect now.
Yeah, most definitely. And I didn't know that Iowa had those invisible pools on balconies.
That pool that got the same shot of the pool that got 5 or 6 different features. You know that hotel like came out on top from this movie. They were
Oh
like,
my
we don't
God.
care if you film here, but you need to include 10 shots of the rooftop pool.
Yep. You rented a drone, bitches. We better use those shots.
They didn't even like switch up the footage. It just cuts back to the same shot of the same people in the rooftop pool.
The
I love it.
same ladies in bikinis and Santa hats, the same brosif getting into the pool with them. Oh, it's a thing of beauty, honestly.
Honestly, the fact that they didn't plug where that hotel actually is the biggest mistake because I do actually want to go to this hotel now.
I
It looks
know.
fabulous.
Iowans everywhere are really mad.
I know they worked so hard to sell this. I'm like, screw this small, like quaint Christmas hotel. I would like to go to the one with the rooftop pool.
Yeah. So, okay. So she is the daughter of this hotel magnate. He's flown her out to offer her a job. And I really did like this because she's supposed to be like this super spoiled, rich guy's daughter, but she very astutely is like, he offered me the job of VP of atmosphere. Like he made that up.
No,
That's
here's
not
what
a
the best
job.
part is, Melody. So I majored in restaurant management. There is a hotel chain. I don't remember if it's W Hotels or like Kimpton Hotels.
Okay.
This is an actual job position where they're
Hmm.
responsible for like the scents in the bathrooms and like the way that the lobby
Oh,
looks. It's a real job, and I think whoever made this movie must have worked in hotels, and it's sort of like an inside joke.
that's
So
great.
fun
Oh,
Easter
that's
egg
great.
there.
Yeah, that's really
And she's
cute.
like, this is a bullshit job. And I think that actually goes to show that her character really didn't need that much developing. Like, sure, she didn't want to fold her own bed sheets, but who does?
Fair. I just don't. Like that's my solution. Is just
Yeah.
I
I mean, that's what
don't.
your glam squad is for.
Right. Right. So a glam squad arrives with a man named Terry, and he's going to be her personal assistant while she's there. And she's like, there's this whole scene of her on the phone with her boyfriend Tad. He is an influencer of my dreams. Justice for Tad, Tad forever.
Oh, yeah, no, this is Tad's movie. Honestly, I wanted to open this by saying, yes, Lindsay Lohan was the star power, but this movie was all about Tad, and he was wronged and he needed his romance. And the fact that they just like abandoned his storyline halfway through is the biggest failure of this movie.
I will rant about this so much when we get to it, but yes, Tad, justice for Tad.
He was the best character in this movie. Like
He
he
stole the
needed
entire
no
movie.
character development. He was perfect as he was. He was the only person who was like actually really good at his job. Like I would follow him on Instagram.
Truly.
And then these horrible things just keep happening to him. He didn't deserve any of it.
I know. I know. Is he a blowhard? Yes. Okay.
Yes, and the stretch hammer was a little bit much. I mean, in this economy, but it was more practical than the people pulling up to like a mountain ski resort in a freaking Ferrari. Like, is that a
Oh,
four-wheel
yeah.
drive car? How did you get that up there?
Uh-huh. I know. Just so I don't forget later. Later on, they pull up to like this destination in a Maserati, and they show like the Maserati logo or whatever. And listen, I don't know if it's because of the bubble I live in or the way that the light was hitting over my eyes, but I was certain that that logo said Monster Bait. And I was like,
Yeah,
how
they
did
knew.
CM Nascosta get an Easter egg in here? Oh my God. And then I realized I was a dumbass. So
You know what? It's like one of those Berenstain Bears situations where like it actually did say that and they had to change it because, too many people caught on.
Jen, I like this energy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. CM
I
Nascosta
do.
forever.
It is the season of miracles, okay? Let's choose to believe.
It's true. It's true. Okay. So he's like, you don't even want that job. Like you want to be an influencer. And so let's announce our relationship online for the first time in a year. I'm Tad and I'll get your numbers up so high. Tad is all about the metrics.
Hmm.
Tad is like very serious at his influencing job.
And he's good.
And he's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So then Sad Blonde is at the dad's hotel. No, they meet on the slopes.
Bad
The
blonde.
Yeah, the sad blonde.
Oh, this like dollar store Chris Hemsworth that they got to be the quote
Yes.
romantic lead. I'm like,
Oh
ew.
my God.
Why did they find the most medium, ugly, average man? And like, I do not believe for a single second that Lindsay Lohan had any sort of sexual relation with this man. Like she
No.
was just like, I don't want to kiss him. Even like all the romantic scenes they had together, you could tell she was just like, ugh, do I have to?
He was a Ken doll to her, and there was no convincing her otherwise. Yeah, but I will say the one thing that he had going for him, and I think this is why they hired him after the screen tests or whatever, he can do a sad contemplation like not a lot of people. There were a few times when they just had the camera on him for seconds at a time, multiple seconds at a time,
As
where he's
tears
just like
slowly welled in his eyes,
nodding, looking around. Oh,
pouting, lots of pouting with his like 90s Boy Meets World haircut and the weird Yeah, it was like, are we bringing that back? I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings because yes,
I hear you.
12-year-old me is like, that is so hot. It is
Oh
so
my God.
dreamy, boy band hairstyle. And then 36-year-old me is like, do you want, is this what we want? Are we doing the bell bottoms and this haircut again?
Oh my
I
God, I
guess I'm
can't.
on board. I just don't want to.
I will say, I went to Old Navy for the first time and I cannot tell you how long because apparently I don't leave my house. And I was like, oh my God, there are new clothes that I could put on my body. Let's go explore. So I went in, and this is actually going to be my lady love later. I swear to God, they were called like higher than high jeans or something like that. And they come up to above my belly button. And it is the best thing in the whole world. So if I have to compromise on bell bottoms to get that in a regular store, I think I have to do it. I think I have to just succumb to the times.
Yes. Well, I've heard that they're trying to bring low rise back, so we might
No,
as well just
fuck that.
enjoy the high rise
No,
while we
absolutely
can.
not.
Stock
No.
up because they're gonna go endangered.
I showed too many people my butt crack already, okay, fashion industry?
Well,
Too
now
many
people have to
people.
pay for that. Okay, we're not paying for jeans. People will pay to see our butt cracks.
That's
This
what I'm
is
saying.
2022.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, sorry. So, knockoff Chris Hemsworth is approaching the magnate on the slopes because he's getting his morning ski run in. And he's like,
Mm.
"Sir, I want to talk to you about investing in my hotel." And the magnate's like, "Gotta beat me to the bottom first." And there's a big action ski sequence. There's way more of these than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie to you.
They paid for a green screen and they were going to get their money's worth.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So they get to the bottom and he lets the dude win. And then at the bottom, he's like, okay, well, you can talk while I walk or whatever. And he's trying to get him to invest into this like little mom and pop bed and breakfast ski resort that's nearby because it is in absolute shambles. And apparently, new skiers like that more than they like a fancy schmancy resort. I did not see the correlation there.
No, no, this was the sales pitch wouldn't have worked for me either. I mean, honestly,
No.
like the hotel, like Daddy Beaumont did nothing wrong. He's like, why is my competition trying to convince me to invest in them? Like there's not really a pipeline there.
Yeah, well, and like it's not even it's I feel like it's barely even competition. You know what I mean? Cuz like I worked tangentially with hotels as well, and it's like the sales pitch that it should have been is you've got the luxury resorts already. Now you should get into the dollar menu
Yeah,
market.
yeah,
You know?
it's a good point. Why didn't Daddy Beaumont just be like, cool, I'll buy your hotel from you. It's failing.
Yeah,
Like, I don't even need your permission. I'll just buy it out from you. And then I own the entire like vertical market.
absolutely. Anyway, listen, it's because we're business people, Jen,
Hmm.
and nobody
Tad would
asked
have come
us.
up with that idea if Tad was in hotels.
Tad and his fucking metrics. It's true.
Yes.
Okay, so she comes down because he gets just like backhanded by Daddy Beaumont. He's just like, I can't with you. Thank you so much for coming. Have some hot cocoa. Bye. And so she comes down and the elevator doors open. And like there is a before this red jumpsuit time in my life and then an after this red jumpsuit time in my life.
The
And
red Valengagi haute couture
oh,
onesie.
haute couture onesie. Thank you for marking that because that is that is what Tad says.
Yes. I was like, this is everything. I was actually really hoping that the slow-mo fashion scenes were going to be throughout the movie.
I
And I feel
know.
like this teaser really let us down.
Wouldn't it have been so funny if like when she was in her blue crocheted aspen sweater later, they did the same kind of like fashion shot? God, that would have been hilarious. Anyway.
Yeah.
Um okay, so he spills cocoa whipped cream on her haute couture onesie. Tad
Yes.
might have an aneurysm over it. He's about to faint.
As he should. That is an amazing
Respectful,
outfit.
respectable.
He ruins it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's got her like. Can we mention also the bejeweled heels in Christmas colors?
Oh,
The Christmas like wide sunglasses for the for Aspen, I guess, or Iowa aspen.
Iowa, yeah.
And the hat, the completely inexplicable wide brimmed black
Oh,
hat.
the whole
Makes
thing
no
was
sense, and
just,
I love it.
it was just fucking magic, is what it
Yeah.
was.
It's like the most impractical outfit to ever wear at a ski
Hmm.
resort. And it was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes. And it does obscure her face just enough to where you would believe that maybe a himbo wouldn't recognize her later.
You know what? That's a really good point because I did spend a good portion of this, like the first half of like her amnesia, not to spoil anything for anyone who had gotten that far, but wondering whether he did actually know that it was her and he was just fucking with her, which I thought would
Yes.
actually be a kind of a fun twist, or
Yes.
whether he was really so dumb that he was like, there's got to be more than one girl with really long blonde hair and like an amazing rack. Like in
Oh my
this
God.
giant ski to resort, amazing racks like that are a dime a dozen, right?
Oh man, yeah. I see red hair down to people's waists all the time around
Yeah.
here. Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna be that he was pretending not to know her so that he could ingratiate himself with her, so that he could get her to ask her dad to invest, but then he like actually gets feelings for her, and so he doesn't want to ask her to do that. But then the way that their relationship crumbles in the big deep dark moment is her being like, you were using me the whole time.
Yeah, which
And
actually,
none of
I
it
mean, I think
happened.
that would have been really compelling, if like this was actually one of those revenge plots, because
Ooh.
there's some great historical romances that do that. Like Sherry Thomas, her amnesia book was fantastic. It was all like, I'm going to get revenge on you. And then it's like, oh shit, now I'm in love with you. That would have been great. But no, it was just that he's
No.
really dumb.
He doesn't have eyeballs sometimes in his life. It's a whole thing. Anyway, they go to breakfast with Daddy Beaumont, and he hates Tad. He hates him to death. He cannot with this man. He says that influencers are basically salesmen, and Tad does a spit take that's like 3 miles long. It's incredible.
I mean, he owns a hotel chain. What is he like? How can you look down on salesmen? You're selling hotels. You're
Not to
just selling
mention,
experiences.
yeah, the like Daddy Beaumont, you haven't offered a week long paid vacation or like free hotel stay to a few dozen influencers to get your ski place this popular. Like, come on, you know the
Yeah.
business.
Those
Come
were
on.
influencers in that hotel pool. We know it.
They had to be. They had to be. And the
Can
shots
we
would have been
talk
perfect.
also about Tad's amazing, like the lines that he's been given? He is a poet. When he's like, in the coffee shop of life, Sierra's a venti. I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I love it though.
Amazing though. I was like, if that was the tagline on one of his posts, iconic, perfect.
Later on, she says to like the knockoff Chris Hemsworth says something like "nice granny gown," and she says, "If that was a compliment, I'll take it." And that's how I felt about Tad's in the coffee shop of life. Sierra's a venti. Like, okay, I like it.
I'm like, wait. I was like, doesn't venti mean 20? So it's like I thought he was like trying to say like she's a 10, and then I'm like, no, but she's a 20. So
She's
she's
20.
like off the. I spent a long time analyzing that line, and I don't think I just figured out the meaning, but I still love it.
It's vibes. It's all Tad vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a couple of other great lines too that make no sense, and I'm just like, he's like really like an existential poet. He is just saying things, and they make you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he's borderline like Buddhist poet,
Yeah.
where you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I know what that means, but I do. It is very tranquil. Very comforting.
Yeah, he's like a himbo savant.
He is.
I mean, I just want to go on and talk about how amazing Tad is. Like he's my dream man.
Oh yeah, all of his scenes are like basically there's my notes, and then Tad scenes are all in caps on my notes. It's great. Okay. So he's like, you've been together for a year? And Tad's like, oh yeah, we have. It's been great. And then there's a cut scene back to the shambles of an inn. The snowmobile is broken. Balthazar the horse might be starving, everyone. Okay?
Balthazar.
You gotta take care of Balthazar the horse.
They only have one.
I know. We meet his adorable daughter who's missing her like 5th tooth, like her canine on the side. She's lost that tooth recently, and like that is so charming. There's something about when they start losing the back teeth and like you can only see it when they do the giant smile that I'm like, oh, it just kills me to death. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And there's a grandma who is the dead mom's mom.
Yes. Alejandra.
Not a dead
who
mom.
I'm like, she's like maybe 50.
Oh,
And
yeah.
for some reason, like discount Chris Hemsworth, Jake or whatever, is allowed
Yeah.
to run this hotel into the ground while Alejandra's still alive. I'm like, excuse me, Alejandra, you take that hotel back. I know she could have turned that place around if stupid Jake wasn't running it.
I mean, I wonder. I wonder.
Like, this
But
is their family heirloom, and she's just
Yeah.
watching her son-in-law, who's maybe married to her daughter for like what, 8 years. They made one
Maybe.
kid, maybe, and she's just like, yeah, he's ruining the family business. Oh, we're so sad.
Look at him go. Aw.
No.
It's great stuff. So she's going to take the daughter to a Christmas wish place because that is absolutely necessary in any Christmas movie. There must be a Christmas wish place. There is also the required Father Christmas at this Christmas place, who is just a random ass man with a white
Creepy
beard.
Santa with the chestnut stand.
That's the one. And he
The
can do
traveling
magic.
chestnut stand.
Yay!
This
Yep.
is the creepiest Santa for this movie. He has
They
like
did.
veneers and like a weird like brown red like stain on his face that I think
Oh,
is supposed to
yes.
look like rosy cheeks, but it just looks like bad self tanner.
Uh-huh. Even his nose crinkle when he does the nose crinkle magic, even that's creepy.
Oh, it's so creepy. Yeah, this is like Santa would not fuck. Like Santa, and when he's like watching them from like through like the glass doors at the end, I'm like, oh my God. Like if I saw that,
know.
I would be like 9-1 Santa. No.
Yeah, no, you're a prowler. You've become a prowler, Santa.
Yeah, he's weird.
Anyway, he does magic on her wish with his nose, and the wish like flies up into the air, and it's gonna get granted later on because Father Christmas, creepy Father Christmas, is gonna make it happen. Meanwhile, Tad has taken Lindsay Lohan up to the top of a mountain. He's tried to voice activate the trailer that the snowmobile is on. He's been like, snowmobile, get down.
He's so good.
Yeah, he takes her to like the most dangerous summit, and he's gonna propose. And he does, and it's beautiful. And there's like that yellow diamond, canary
Yes.
one maybe.
I thought the way he proposed to her was amazing. The one like, I can't put my finger on it, but maybe you can. I was like, oh my God, like that is so fucking smooth. Like, yes, Chad.
Yeah.
I'm honestly disappointed that he didn't record the whole thing. Like he should have had like his like if he was a real influencer, he would have had the stand all set up and like, yeah.
Thank you.
But,
That
you
was
know.
my note as well. I was like, no influencer worth their salt would do a proposal without filming it. Come
Right.
on.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, and like the way that he had to go down to his knees with his snow boots on, like the ski boots. Oh, everything about it was perfect.
It was amazing. The diamond was hideous. That is the worst ring I've ever seen.
It was real bad.
But-
Yeah. Yeah. But she loves it. It is too big though. And she continues saying that out loud to him. It's too big. It's too big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, Chekhov's ring in there.
Yeah. And so the same nose wind that did put that wish up into the air by creepy Father Christmas, that nose wind does create a wind storm on the top of the summit that then knocks Lindsay Lohan off of one side of the mountain and creates a vortex to hell
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
Tad
no,
falls
that
down.
was basically like Santa casting control weather for like an hour, because then later it's like a beautiful sunset. So
Yeah.
this storm is like a very like a small position storm.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't last very long, and I don't know why Santa decided to like have his character suffer or these people suffer and like
Mhm.
have like a traumatic head injury to discover the
Mhm.
meaning of Christmas. Like this is another reason that I actually think that the Santa in this movie is evil. Like I think he is the
Ooh.
villain of this movie, and because he's so creepy, and everything
Right.
he does is just like torturing the characters for no reason. Like Tad's entire trauma that he goes through, where he nearly dies of hypothermia, and like
Tad's hero's journey was intense.
It was so intense and it had like no purpose
No.
whatsoever. It was really just to make Tad suffer.
No, I hear you. It was like he literally, it wasn't just like he fell off the other side of the mountain. It was like the ground beneath him crumbled into a like a chutes and ladders chute that took him into a glacial forest beyond. It was
Yes.
nuts.
It
It
was
was
nuts.
nuts. There
And
is
we can
a really
understand
great
that.
falling scene though.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think we can understand how Tad can't ski because like we just assume he's never done that before. But it also becomes clear that Lindsay Lohan's character can't ski and her dad owns a ski resort. So this is where I have questions because it's never actually established even later in the movie when Jake is teaching Sierra how to ski. It's not clear whether she actually can or not.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I wonder
Mm-hmm.
if I'll remember. And then she does a very mediocre job. So
Yeah.
just
She does a job that roughly I would do on skis
yeah.
if one were to get me on skis again.
No, and like they clearly got like a stunt double, but the stunt double's not good at skiing either. So I don't know if they got like a
Oh, good.
discount stunt double or if it was meant to be just like some random extra being like, you want to ski down? Just do an adequate job.
That's so
Neither
good.
too good nor too bad.
Oh, we forgot to tell them about the car ride. I'm so sorry, listener. I have to back up a tiny bit before Tad's journey to another dimension. On the way up the hill in his SUV or whatever, Jingle Bell Rock comes on, and Lindsay Lohan starts singing to it.
Mean Girls
Oh,
reference.
this
And
Easter egg.
And then he's like, "Oh, it's a little pitchy, sweetie," which is like basically a Step Brothers reference, where like
Yes.
the evil like brother tells his like caroling family that they're not doing a good job singing.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
love that.
And he like discourages her from singing and changes the channel to "I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you." Honestly,
So
Tad.
great. So on the money. I love this movie definitely does poke fun at itself a little bit, and I respect that. You know, like they
Same.
know what they're doing.
No, I really liked it. I actually wish they had leaned into it a little bit more,
Yes.
because they were very sincere in places that did not require it. Anyway,
No.
so
Yeah, no, I think that also if they were going to mention that she was pitchy here, they do bring the singing back later when she's singing at the Christmas tree, but they
mhm.
never like they don't actually have her sing or give a performance, and I think that is a missed opportunity for her
Yeah.
to turn out to actually be an amazing singer, and then have her say, "Daddy, I can't take this job as VP of Atmosphere because I'm going to become a singer."
I'm gonna become a Christmas singer, exclusively a
Yes.
Christmas singer.
Yes, and like
Yeah.
hosting like the whole like charity like whatever they did to raise money
Yeah.
for the inn. I don't even know what that was. It was like a ball.
Nobody
but
knew what
they
that
didn't
was.
yeah, just
Not a
an
single
invite,
person.
come give us money in outfits.
Not
But
a
I thought she
single
was gonna
person.
sing and perform for them. Like, why? That would be the perfect. They should have let me write this movie.
I know. Well, here's the thing. So apparently, I read this when I forget what I Googled while I was watching the movie, but it came up in like the first page of Google that I guess Lindsay Lohan had a conversation with the creators of the movie. And she was like, oh my gosh, what if we did like a whole Jingle Bell Rock thing and like we recreated the dance number
Oh my
and
god, yes.
blah 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 blah. But then it seems like something happened. I don't know what happened. And then later on she was like, and then I was like, oh no, you can't touch Mean Girls. Oh no. So I just like sang, and then she did the cover of that song for the credits.
Oh,
Her performing at that Christmas benefit situation would have been
that would have
incredible.
been perfect. That would have taken this movie to just like pure icon territory.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Okay, so she bonks her head hard at the bottom of the mountain and she's passed out. She is mightily concussed. Okay. He is taking a couple of hotel guests on a one-horse open sleigh ride.
That is of questionable safety. And this is what's so funny to me is like that guy is like, is this thing even safe? And then
Yeah.
like a piece of the trim falls off.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like the nicest sled. It looks nicer than the sleds or the sleighs that they use in Central Park or those carriages. Like
Absolutely.
that is a nice looking sled. There's nothing about that would seem unsafe to me. And also
Uh-huh.
like, how fast does this thing go? Like, what are you worried about happening?
Right. And how far are you going? It can't possibly be that far away from the hotel.
Yeah. I'm like, Oh, God, you're worried about like having a 5 mile per hour accident with poor Balthazar, who's been starving to death and can barely pull this thing.
Poor Balthazar has to work for no food. Anyway, so so and when they cut to them on the sleigh, supposedly they are purportedly singing like jingle bells or something, and their lips
It's
are
clearly being sung by more than three people.
absolutely, and like
The
their
whole
lips
chorus.
are not moving at the same rate as like the song. It's so good. Oh my god.
It's like they filmed them singing and then they were like, "Ooh, this is bad. We need to dub over it."
Yeah.
To not bother to match it up with the movie.
Yeah, hating this is what they said. So now he looks over and he does see the absolutely atrociously concussed Lindsay Lohan, who, thank goodness, is in a bright pink snow outfit.
And this is what makes me wonder if this is like a Mount Everest reference, because they have that like one body on Mount Everest that they use as a waypoint in a neon green ski suit, and someone's like, "Oh, it better not be a dead body," and I'm like, "That's
Yeah.
fucking dark."
It's really dark.
Yeah.
I forgot that person was in neon green though. That's great.
Yeah, it's like a very well-known waymark now, and they like everyone's like, "Why don't they move the body?" But it's just like too dangerous to do so.
No. Don't risk your life for that. That person lives there now. Anyway, so he gets her and he takes her to a hospital, and everybody finds out that she has amnesia. She has no idea who she is or whatever. And my husband Michael was cleaning the fish tank as I watched this section in the same room, and he got to witness the glory that was Lindsay Lohan saying, "My name is, my name is, my name is," and he goes, "If it's there 3 times in the script, you need to say it a different way each time." I was like, "Michael, you did not go to the Lindsay Lohan School of Acting, and I will have you take several seats."
It was so subtle. Like this was Oscar winning. Like you really had to like look at like the change in like her eyes.
Oh yes, it's true.
Honestly, the thing pulling the most weight in this scene was her amazing gauze headband. It was pure fashion. There was no like compress underneath it. It was just gauze wrapped around in like a fashionable twist at a jaunty angle.
It's true.
For her bruise on her head, like she doesn't have any like blood or anything, but like she still needed that gauze.
Which like she hit that tree at the speed of 3 linebackers. Like the mannequin or whatever it was hit that tree, and I literally shouted, "Oh my God, that's dead!" Like it's dead now.
Yeah, I was like, share, because like I am like gonna protest against this movie. This is like causing me PTSD.
Yes. Oh, so okay. The other person pulling their weight in that scene was the incredible doctor, who is just like shade for days. At one point, knockoff Chris Hemsworth says, "Oh, but she's awake. That's good." And she looks this man dead in the face and she says, "It depends on your perspective." Yeah. And we walk into the room with Lindsay Lohan just being an absolute nightmare. Like, "Don't touch me." Oh God, it's so good. Anyway,
I do love that the sheriff is just like, like he's like, "Well, I don't know if anyone will find her. It's the holidays, you know." And
holidays times.
That mean that people aren't going to be looking for their loved ones around the holidays. Like, not till January will anyone notice that she's missing. Back in 9 to 5 business hours.
They're so busy at those Christmas parties, Jen, that it's just going to slip their mind. So much eggnog, I think, might be the problem.
A huge town, like it's just so easy just to not notice someone missing. I know. To be fair.
I know. He literally says, "I mean, I could put her face on a missing persons website, but it's the holidays."
He doesn't. He does absolutely nothing. He's like, "I've got bigger fish to fry. There might be a poacher."
Yeah. Justice for Ralph. Ralph forever. We'll get to it. Oh my God.
Storyline. There's a certain point in the movie where I'm like, can we go back to what's going on? I have so many questions about Tad and Ralph.
I have so many questions about them.
An entire movie that's just Tad and Ralph.
I have so many plans for them.
Survival romance.
Oh my God, Tad and Ralph. Like I'm legitimately mad about this, and I will have to talk about it later, because this is when I thought his nefarious plan was starting. Because he's like, oh, I've got a
Santa's
place.
nefarious plan.
No, no. Almost. No, knock off Chris Hemsworth. Because he's like,
yes, yes.
oh, I've got a little shabby place that she might be able to, hang her hat at. And
the doctor and the sheriff are like, sure, that sounds reasonable. Just go home with the stranger. We know this guy. He's a nice man.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the doctor, she's like, does your shabby ass inn have room service though? And he's like, okay, I guess you can stay here. And the doctor goes, nope, she may not.
Well, I saw the food that they were trying to give her, and I think that's actually very relatable. Like Lindsay's like, no, I'm not going to eat this like corn.
Absolutely. No, that was her deciding moment, and I was fully behind her. I will go with a stranger before I eat that vegetable medley that has been steamed into oblivion.
Yeah, and she'd already alienated everybody there at the hospital. Like, it was a done deal.
It's true. And so now she's going to go to this shabby inn and alienate everybody there.
Yeah, perfect.
He gives her clothes out of the Lost and Found bin.
Which presumably haven't been washed and have just been like sitting there like gathering cobwebs and lice.
Oh my God. It is mustier than that dusty angel we see.
What I'm wondering about is like we see this amazing gold like lame Christmas sweater and then it is never featured again. I was really hoping for like a fashionable like redo, like you said, in the lobby with the onesie, but with her like modeling all of the Lost and Found clothes. And we get nothing. We get the cool Aspen sweater, which actually looks really nice, and I would like to have one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wish I could make something like that. Alas.
Yeah.
So he goes there, and then okay, but now we have to talk about Tad going to the ice fishing lodge because he's literally in the middle of nowhere. He's been taking selfie videos before his phone died. That's like, this is Tad Fairchild. And if you find my body, please upload this video. And then it like goes dark.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he's in that crap forest with no cell phone, no cell tower service. I also think it's very unbelievable that Tad doesn't have a backup battery on him and that his phone wasn't fully charged and ready to go. Like,
you're right.
Plot hole.
You're right. I wonder if like he left it in the car. I'm giving this movie too much credit. You're right.
That's right. It was in the crashed snowmobile. He had like 5 more chargers.
Yeah. So he runs over, he sees this ice fishing cabin situation, and this is when we meet Ralph. And it was a pivotal moment, not only in the movie, but in my development as a human, frankly.
Yes.
Ralph is fantastic. He's getting his lures ready to get him some ice fishing going. And all of a sudden, Tad Fairchild comes in like a deranged Yeti. Like he just throws open the door and he's like, sanctuary.
This was the best because I had no idea what was going on in this scene. I was like, where are they going with this? This plot, this is like not like a classic trope. Like this is just out of nowhere.
I was so excited for this.
Yeah. And this cabin had like so much electricity just in the middle of a frozen lake. I thought it had to be magical. Like he'd gone to like a magical, like
another realm.
Yes. And this was like a Santa's like elf workshop thing. And I don't know. I was really excited because I thought they were taking a very creative angle here.
I know. The one wonderful creatively thing they have done is Ralph does throw his entire box of lures at Tad's head, and one does go through his eyebrow, and it was delicious, frankly. Tad can't feel it because everything's numb. And then the most sexual thing in the movie happens. That is Tad walking over to Ralph, grabbing him by the chin and saying, "What's your name, savior?" And I was like, oh my God, it's on. It's on TM. Yeah. Ralph and Tad forever. Hashtag Ralph and Tad.
I loved it. Because I like that snowed in trope where they like, you meet like the grumpy survivalist and then they like help keep you alive and like you melt their frozen heart and then they teach you how to like, rough it in the wilderness. It's so good. And then like later they have a scene where he's just like, oh my God, you're so strong. And he's like, don't worry about me. I got big feet. And I was
I'm
just thrown in there
obsessed.
for no reason.
I'm
I don't
obsessed.
know if like they meant for that to just be Tad's like gay awakening, but I have to assume at this point that Tad is openly bisexual. I mean, he is an
Yeah.
influencer. He doesn't give a shit.
No, his whole life is out there. It's great. But I was hoping that it was Ralph's gay awakening. You
Oh,
know?
yes. Yeah.
I don't know because
'Cause we
Ralph.
know nothing about Ralph. Like we're not given
No.
his backstory. He is mysterious,
I want to
sexy with
know
that
so
beard.
much more about Ralph. He's got this caretaker in him that just came like was freed when he came upon Tad.
What if Ralph was the real Santa and then he was replaced by evil Santa and he was exiled to the South Pole, which is in this alternate dimension on a frozen ice lake?
That's what happened.
Yes.
That's
yes.
why this
It's like,
movie isn't right.
yeah, it's Parent Trap, but with Santas. That was like the subplot, the B plot that kind of had to get cut for time.
It did. It did. It's on the cutting room floor and they made bad choices. Fuck.
I will be writing fanfic about this later.
I like it.
Find it in the Patreon.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it is. It's so wonderful. I said my note is, "What's your name, Savior?" is the most sexual line in this movie. Tad is a miracle, husky and delicious.
So delicious. Oh, yeah. I was like, I like it because he's so unassuming at first, and then you look closer and you're like, I would hit that so hard.
Uh-huh.
And so
Yeah.
would Tad. I mean, Tad is a very good-looking man. Like he
Yeah.
takes care of himself.
Better than I do. That's for damn sure.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
my
yeah.
God. So, okay, so she wakes up and she's in the exact same position, except that instead of a silk eye mask, she does have a Christmas sock over her eyes. And I don't know why I found that so funny, but I was like, you did it. You worked. It worked. You
Yes.
got me.
Yeah, that's the poor man's version. They don't have sleeping masks for poor people. You can only
No.
use socks.
No. No. Okay. And then let me see. She meets Avi at this point, the daughter, and Avi names her after one of her stuffed wolves. And I don't know what kind of symbolism that is. Like, was that her welcoming Sierra into the pack? Like, I don't know what it was, but it
Oh,
felt
I like that. I
it
like
felt
that.
monumental. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I also love that she names her Sarah, which is
Mhm.
like literally the same name as Sierra, and it doesn't trigger anything. She's not like, oh, Sarah, that sounds so familiar, huh? Sarah, Sierra. Nope. She's just like, oh, that's a nice name.
Sarah's a great name. Meanwhile, she passed over Frankie. Okay? Frankie is the obvious choice when given the option. Come on.
It almost makes me wonder whether Lindsay Lohan has played a character named Frankie or something. Like if that was another what those names were references to something. I should have looked that up.
I'm going to get my Google machine out later.
But can we talk about how shabby this hotel is? That they all like they don't even have heating. They have to have these enormous fireplaces in every bedroom to heat them up. Like
Knock
the
off
amount of
Crimson-
wood that goes into like heating this room.
Knockoff Chris Hemsworth is basically shouting like, it's atmospheric all over the place. It's ridiculous.
And you know it's a shabby hotel because it's only one story, apparently.
Oh, wow. I did
She
not
opens
clock
the
that.
windows and like there's just people outside the windows, not like a view of a pool.
It's true. Yeah, it's the same family every morning, as if they're like stuck in a Twilight episode. Anyway, okay, so then they talk about Avi's dead mom and they bond over having dead moms, and it's really sweet. Lindsay Lohan says one of the most charming things she says in the movie at all, and that is Avi says, I can't tell you, you'll think it's weird. And she goes, I don't even know my name. Like, there's nothing weirder than that. It's so
I can't think of a
sweet.
single thing weirder.
Yeah. And then my next note is this shot of the ladies in the pool again is hilarious.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. And then she goes out and she's like, oh, no, 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 no. I know that you cook breakfast for your guests every morning, but I'm perfectly capable of making my own breakfast. And I think this was real. Jen?
Yeah, no, this is her actually trying to cook breakfast.
I think they threw Lindsay Lohan into that scene and said, let's see what happens. And then this absolute fucking gold came out of it. She
So, like,
pours it.
just cook an omelet, like however you would do it at home. And she's like, I got this. I got
No
it.
worries. Step aside,
Takes the
producers.
Throws it on the pan. Also, the idea that they've cooked breakfast. This is a B&B. They've cooked breakfast for this. I don't know how many like rooms are in this hotel. It looks quite large from the exterior shot.
Yeah.
And there's a whole like a bunch of families sitting there. But they've done it all on 2 hot plates for some reason. Like all of it. They don't have a dish like a dish machine or like anything. It's just like a bar area that they set up hot plates on.
Nope, 2 hot plates and a dream. Really? That's what the whole hotel is. Okay, so then he's like, "Why don't you have a seat, sweetie darling?" And she's like, "I think that's a good idea." This is when Avi convinces her to eat bacon, which I was like, "Avi, like I know you're young, but I like this is I don't know. I don't know.
She's Jewish. Like they don't even discuss the idea that she might have religious reasons for not eating bacon. Like if she says she doesn't eat bacon, like, oh my God. And they're like, you must not be from around here. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, is it just that like they don't think poor people can be vegan or like there was a lot of coded thing. I was like, this is offensive to me.
It was okay. I'm glad because I was like, I think I'm like being a snowflake right now. You know what I mean? But I was just like, Avi, no. Like, if that was my kid, I would have been like, leave her alone.
Yeah, this is definitely like pandering to that crowd. You know, like. You know, like all of these Christmas movies just have like a little bit of that, like we're pandering to the blue collar, you know. We're a little conservative and we believe that red meat is the only way to go crowd. I get it.
No, totally. Totally.
I mean, these are just like rewrapped like inspirational romances. Instead of God, they have Santa that plays the same role. So I understand what the market is for it. But this was like a little heavy-handed. I just, you know, they went too hard on it.
Yeah. And frankly, same amount of penis. Which is a problem. Like, come on, man. Netflix, I know you can go harder than this. I've seen it.
I know. Yeah.
We with my eyeballs. All right.
We have. And we would like to see more.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Boys Kiss on Netflix this year. Thank you. 365 Forever and Ever or you know, Reloaded or whatever the fuck that movie was called.
the final 365. The final.
It better not be the final one. Better not be. There better be a whole HEA movie where we just watch the 3 of them bang.
Going forever. They're gonna milk that lack of plot for all it's worth.
They have to, right?
God
like just if only for me.
Yeah.
More
Why
yacht
not?
sex.
I mean, that is like the easy, like they are printing money and all they don't even have to pay script writers.
No, they do have to buy the rights to a lot of music. But
they produced for that last movie, the last 2 movies, they wrote 25 songs just for that movie. All of the money that they could have spent on an actual script, they just spent on hiring one person to make a bunch of nonsense R&B songs.
Truly.
I am so happy for them.
Me too. Oh my God, they're living their best fucking lives.
They really are.
Okay, so this is when, and he says, I feel like I've met her before. And we're like, yeah, Jake, you think? Dumbass.
These gigantic boobs is ringing a bell.
Okay.
Can't put my finger on it.
I don't know what's happening. All right, so now we're back at the ice hut. And Ralph's truck is just not working. Period. The end. No questions asked. Ralph is just like, well, I guess we got to hike for 2 days through the snow drifts.
And he's very excited about it. He's like, very cheerful. He's like, well, this is going to be a fun adventure.
If I had some forced proximity with a hot little number like Tad, I might hike 2 days in the snowdrifts. Okay.
Like, and we're going to have to huddle for warmth.
Oh boy, are they. And this is when, what's my note? It says, it might be later, but what happens right now is that he offers to cook fish for Tad, and Tad's like, no. Fish are pets that are in my saltwater aquarium. And so this man just throws a hatchet at Tad's face. Tad manages to catch it. Thank the goddesses of everything. And he says, what's this for? And Ralph says, I don't know, hurl it at a squirrel.
There's a lot of like anti-vegan sentiment in this movie. All right. Like first they're trying to get Ralph to eat something that he sees as a pet. or not Ralph, Tad. And then they have Lizzie eating bacon, and I'm like, this is just so rude.
No
Like, this
squirrels
is
were harmed in the making of
unnecessary.
that movie.
Yeah, because then later I do think he has like, well, no, because then Tad eats beans later. They never actually
Yeah.
show Tad eating any
Yeah.
fish, which is fine.
Yeah. No fish and no hunting for Tad, shockingly.
No, we don't get to see Tad use the axe. There's no montage of him learning to be a survivalist.
Oh my
Again,
God.
missed opportunity.
Hurl
Because
this
then,
at a squirrel is one of my
yeah,
favorite movie lines of all time, I think.
I feel like if he had learned all these survival skills, like he and Ralph actually could have like had like a, well, we're gonna stop being influencers and we're gonna be survivalist influencers, and they could just like film all
Hmm.
these videos and like a montage at the end over the credits of them doing
Oh,
survivalist stuff in this town. I don't know. It's
that's actually where I
aesthetic.
thought this was going too, because during the bean scene, Tad offers to help Ralph make a survivalist blog.
Yes. Yeah, I thought they were gonna become like buddies,
And
sexual buddies
yes,
forever.
lovers.
And then Tad somehow ends up with what's his name?
Oh, I
Terry,
can't
who
even
has like
talk about
no.
it.
I'm
I
like, I'm
can't
sorry.
even
They were
talk
just like,
about it.
well, now that Tad is purportedly gay, because I guess he wasn't before, now we're just going to put him with the only other person who's also a little bit like gay coded.
Yeah.
It's just, I was like, I feel like this is offensive, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
It's true. It's true.
Kind of like how they killed off the Latina mom and like all of the other like character people of color were like
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
in roles where they like kind of looked a little like goofy. I'm like,
Yeah.
something about this just feels a little assiduously racist, but it's
Right.
just so subtle.
Yeah. You're trying, but did you notice that all the people of color are only there for exposition? Did you
Mhm.
notice that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're there, but they don't have any personalities and they don't get any good lines.
And they're so thankful for the knockoff Chris Hemsworth.
Yes.
So thankful for him. Okay, so now they're like, oh, we can't afford a housekeeper. And Lindsay Lohan's like, has anybody called for me? No? Well, the doctor said I should do normal things, but I don't know what she means. And then both the grandma and knockoff Chris Hemsworth are like, I see what we can do. We are going to press her into service.
I would like to know how they have been running this B&B. Like, no wonder this place is failing. They do not have anyone to clean the rooms. So who's cleaning the rooms? The child? Is this like is Alejandra the grandmother doing it? Like, again, feels a little racist that they're having the Latina people be the ones who clean the rooms, because Jake sure isn't. He's out there like skiing to kind of like get investing like from Beaumont, and he's running this like he's starving Balthazar.
Yeah, he's running Balthazar into the ground. God, Jake. Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, I think this place deserves to fail. Like, it is poorly managed.
It is. It is. Thank goodness she's going to fix that at the end. Okay, so then there's a whole scene of her like WWEing a fitted sheet and getting her ass kicked.
Which is actually pretty relatable. I mean,
relatable
honestly.
Content. Yes, absolutely. She gets attacked by a toilet at another point. You know, stuff that happens to people in the world is true. Yeah. So then Tad is dying on the hike, and this is our favorite scene, I think, probably.
Yes.
Tad is dying on the hike, and he theatrically throws himself down into the snow, and he says, I'm dying, save yourself. And then Ralph goes, oh no, I'll get you, buddy. And he comes back over and he manhandles some snowshoes onto Tad.
Which he had the whole time.
He had these the whole time. Before. Yep. And like he pulls his leg and Tad's like, oh, and he puts the snowshoe on, and then he pulls on his other leg and Tad's like, oh, and he puts that snowshoe on and Tad's like, but what about you? And he winks at him and he says, don't worry, I've got big feet.
I don't understand why include that if you're not going to take it somewhere, you know? I think that they maybe had a storyline that involved more of Ralph and they had to cut it. Maybe somebody objected to this, felt it was too sexual for Netflix.
I don't know, but they did me wrong. They did a wrong personally to me.
Yeah.
That they didn't follow this through.
I was like, this is about to be the best Christmas movie I've ever seen. Like, this is like a sleeper hit because it's not about
Seriously.
the A story, it's about the B story.
B
Tad and
story.
Ralph were about to make me believe in miracles, and I'm Jewish. So I was like,
Yeah.
this is, I believe in Christmas now. And then he comes back and takes the chestnut stand back from Santa, and
That's right.
they save the town.
He reclaims the North Pole and everything is right again.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, promise of the premise, Netflix. Okay. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Know
So-
your audience.
Yeah. Yeah. So he does find the aftermath of her putting the entire bottle of laundry detergent into a washer accidentally. And he does a grumpy at her face a tiny bit, except all he says is, "This is the last thing I need right now." Which, like, that's
He-
fair.
Had somebody who's like who had recovering from a traumatic head injury, let her just go wild, like cleaning his whole hotel for him for free, and then he's complaining she does a poor job when he gave her zero training. Like, again, Jake and creepy Santa are the villains of this movie. At this point, I wrote a note like, how old is Jake? But do we think, by the way, because I do like that, like, he looks like he's a little bit younger than her, and so I think it's kind of sexy that they went for the age gap here. That she's clearly a little older.
I clocked him at like 28, 29.
Yeah, yeah.
So he had his kid young.
Yeah. I don't know if we're just supposed to believe that she's also that age, but I don't. I think she looks fabulous for 40 and super hot. And I think that she deserves like a hot young stud, just not Jake because he sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. A hotter one, a hotter, better one is all.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then she goes out and she mopes to Balthazar, the starving horse. And she says, "I'm just a useless person. I'm a useless human and I have no skills." And then she's like, "I'm going to try to go get some wood, see if I can manage that." And he hears her moping at poor Balthazar. Then she does fall with all the wood in her hands. And he sits down next to her and he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry about saying that true thing I said out loud earlier. I didn't even say it about you. I just said that it was an inconvenience that had happened to me personally, Jake. Dummy Jake. But I'm sorry." And she's like,
also, we do learn at this point, I believe it's here where we learn that he actually also used to live in New York City as a salesman. And he only married into this family. And like the reason he has a hotel is because he married the family that had like built this.
Yeah.
So like he had nothing to do with the initial success of this hotel.
No.
And he's just some sales guy, which we've already established is like a bad guy in this movie because the idea that Tad was in sales was so offensive to him.
So terrible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. So then they go to a Christmas. Oh, because she says, "It's just that nobody's looking for me. That's why I'm mad. I apparently don't have anybody in the world who cares about me."
Well, it's the holidays after all.
It's the holidays, though, so busy. People might be in Cancun or something for the holidays. I don't know. And he's like, "Let's go to the magical Christmas tree lighting where many humans will be. And so maybe you will be able to see your humans. I don't know. It's worth a shot."
Oh, that's why they went. That's not clear to me.
I had to rewind it.
Motivation?
No, I rewound it to figure it out. This is where evil Santa gives her a snow globe and does rub it in Jake's face that he's too poor to buy that bespoke sleigh. Okay?
Yeah.
Go away, poors. You can have your snow globe and that's all.
That was pretty amazing. Because like the snow globe is meant to sort of like trigger her memory, but then it actually serves no purpose.
None at all. She vaguely has a memory of a beautiful woman giving her a snow globe. And so that must be her mother, which I thought was an excellent choice for this character. Like she doesn't actually have the memory, but because the woman was beautiful, had to be her mom. Good stuff.
Well, also, I was just watching that. I'm like, that's not what Lindsay Lohan looks like as a child. We know what she looks like as a child. Couldn't they splice in some Parent Trap footage here?
I know. Yeah. So then, now what happens? I think they go back to the lodge or something. And, oh no, he encourages her to sing at the tree lighting. because he is the anti-Tad, which is what makes
And
him
then he
bad.
kind of like she just mumbles the song a little bit louder.
Yeah, that's what she does. um,
So inspirational.
I know. So that night, oh God, they like do an awkward, I guess I'll go to bed now. It's been such a long day. And then she calls him back and he's like very eager to come back and talk to her. And she says, Jake, I don't think I've ever met anyone like you before because I know I would remember it.
Amnesia. She doesn't remember her own name.
That's not how medicine works, though. You know, like medically speaking, that's not how that would work.
I think we can conclude that Lindsay does not have medical training in this movie. But
yeah,
no, it was a little magical. I thought that was actually a pretty smooth line, though.
It was. Like, no, it was
Like,
absolutely.
it touched me just a little bit. I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet.
I know. And like, if the goal was getting into his pants, good work. You did it, Lindsay. Like pants and heart right in that one line. But now she's like getting the hang of this being a regular person thing. And she wakes up happy and she makes her own bed. And he does the thing where the dude comes around behind the lady and holds onto her hand while she tries to do a manual thing. And she does.
I'm helping.
She does flip a pumpkin pancake for breakfast. Great job. Listen,
and you know
great.
That how many takes that scene took?
Oh my God, so many pancakes just were offered to the pyre that was those hot plates in this trying to get this shot. Offered to the pumpkin pancake gods
than anything else in this movie.
So good. Yeah, and like he's on the guitar and they're having a family Christmas Carol sing along, and like that's not real, is it?
I don't know. I mean, there's a point when they're also like cutting snowflakes together. Like the reason this hotel is doing so poorly is they're spending a lot of time doing a lot of unnecessary family building activities. Indeed. Even though we're also told that it's been 2 years since he's even smiled. So he's just miserably going along with these like wonderful holiday family building exercises.
Yeah, one of those
with tears in his eyes.
Yeah. One of those is a gingerbread house, making a gingerbread house. And I think that this was in Lindsay Lohan's writer because she gets to put icing all over his face. And then in retaliation, he just throws marshmallows at her. And like, that's not an appropriate response. That is not a commensurate response to icing in the eye. And Lindsay Lohan was just like, if it's goopy, it doesn't touch me.
Yeah.
Not happening.
And you know what? Fair. Like, fair.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that he's just like wasting these marshmallows. He's so poor. He can't run this place. But he's just throwing, like, wasting marshmallows. Like, I was so offended.
God. Oh my God.
And they're going all over the floor of his hotel. He doesn't even have a housekeeper. So who's cleaning up these marshmallows?
Mm-hmm.
He's making her clean them up.
She's like, ooh, that's the cutscene. She's like on all fours, crawling around on the ground, being like, of course I'll pick up these marshmallows for you, master.
Yes. Another outtake.
I know. Listen, this is where he saves her on skis. And he does
he decides to put her on skis after recovering from a concussive head injury incurred while skiing, which is so kind of him. He doesn't know if she can ski, but he still takes her up to the top.
Let's get you another one of those just charming TBIs. That's what we're gonna do.
And then we also still don't know whether Lindsay's character ever learned to ski in the first place.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. He saves her, they fall together, then they keep making eyes at each other. She says goodbye to some patrons as if she owns the place and like runs it with him. And he gets a boner like from here to Texas. I'll tell you that much. He's flying that flag. Wooey.
He's like, she can work the front desk and housekeeping. My dream woman.
What's better in a woman?
Can't wait to replace my dead wife with her already.
Oh my God.
Because then like she has that touching scene with Alejandra, which I think you're probably about to get to. But like the full like Mother Gothel where she's like, my daughter's been dead 2 years, but I can't wait for her to replace her immediately.
Seriously.
She's like, my daughter is beautiful, but you're beautiful too.
You're so beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great stuff. Um, okay, so now this is also when the mother-in-law is like, In's in trouble. We need monies and stuff. Um, and Lindsay Lohan is like putting something away, and she does find a dusty angel tree topper that he was like looking at meaningfully earlier, and then he put into a drawer. And he comes in, and she's like, "Oh, what's this? It's so pretty." And he says, "That's my dead wife and I bought it together." And I'm just, it's dead wife stuff.
I started laughing at this because I was watching this with my roommate, and he's like, "What do you mean they bought it together? Like they split it like $5 each?
Right?
Like, well, we know Creepy Santa really up prices his product. So the chestnut stand was charging a minimum of $20 for this angel, but you know that Jake made his dead wife split the cost with him because he's a cheap motherfucker.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, they do a toy drive where one of the people of color who have tiny roles get to tell her how amazing Jake is and how thankful she is for him.
She's just like woodenly reciting these lines like, this is my role. I have no backstory. I'm just a person here to tell you how great Jake is. And then we look, the camera pans over to Jake, and he's just like, they're like, "Jake, we need you to help sort out some stuff over here." And he's just playing Jenga with like,
he is
like the most useless man we've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's like, and like the tower's already been built. He's like taking the packages out from underneath the bottom of the tower. He's making it worse.
It's true. Yeah, and the lady's like, "I just wish that we as a town could show Jake how much we love and appreciate him." And Lilo goes home with him, and then there's a mistletoe scene.
Of course, we gotta have a mistletoe scene.
And he says, "We are standing under the mistletoe." And Lindsay Lohan says, "Yup, we are."
Well, and I like how like he clearly hung up the mistletoe. It's his inn, so he knew it was there.
Yeah.
He's clearly orchestrated this whole thing and then act surprised. And she like Lindsay Lohan, I have to hand it to her. She doesn't even try to act. Like the look of repulsion on her face that is supposed to look like lust is just. I had to rewind that and watch it multiple times because she just cringes.
This grimace happens on her face.
It was supposed to be a look of like, "Oh, I want to, but I can't." But it really just looked at her being like, "Oh my God, I would never."
Is mistletoe. Oh, hooray. Oh. So they lean in, but then Jake's like, "We shouldn't be doing this. You could be with someone and not remember." And she's like, "Oh, phew," because seriously, she runs away, and I think she's going to go and like be angsty in her room, but she just has the most serene smile on her face, and she just puts her little hands under her cheek, and she's just going to lay down for a bit and relax. And I was like, that is not the face of a woman who just got turned down for a kiss she wants. I don't understand.
She did not. She was like, "Oh, another night, and I don't have to kiss Jake."
Okay, so now her plan, because of In having a problem and knowing the history of the inn and knowing how much the town owes Jake, she's like, "We're going to have a Christmas party." At that
and the reason they're able to do this, though, is that they have saved all of their Alejandra has saved all of their guest data from the last 3 years, which, by the way, is an enormous
30.
PCI compliance.
30
years. This is an enormous violation of PCI compliance laws.
It is
like
quite.
Every year, if you work in a hotel, you have to take this tutorial. It's basically like you cannot save any guest data. Like you basically, it's a huge violation. It's supposed to be completely wiped. And they've just decided to save it all. And then it's not unethical to take all of this information that has like full addresses and just like use that information to benefit themselves.
I know. We did not know that Alejandra was a privacy-hating dragon who just sits on her pile of address resources. It's great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this hotel is just going to get shut down for violations at this point.
I mean, later on, when she's actually getting reservations, she's literally writing them down with a pencil. So, like, I don't think anybody could find out. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the other reason why things are in the shitter, Jake. You've not invested into this hotel at all.
They have no staff whatsoever. And the 3 people in this family that are running it don't know what they're doing.
It's amazing. Okay. And Jake is like, "No way. I I am a white man, and so I can give charity to anyone in the town, but I'm not going to ask them for any help. And he literally says, I'm not going to let them think that I need a handout. Jake, is that how you see everyone you help? Wow.
Yeah, that's another very heavy-handed, like, just anti like welfare coding right there.
Yikes.
Like
It's
the
amazing.
worst possible thing you can do is accept charity.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Yeah, and then she's like, but Jake, you can't give up on the inn. Think of all the memories you have here. And this man looks her dead in the face and he says, what do you know about memories?
What do you even know about memories? Oh my God, now that is good script writing. I was like, that is the coldest burn ever. Did Tad write this line? Because it actually doesn't make sense, but it is so mean.
Oh, yeah. Now, then another thing happens that doesn't make any sense because she does run out and he runs after her and she stops like she had been planning to stop the whole time. And then he says, it's not you. Well, no, it is you. It's just that you're making me feel things that I haven't felt in a really long time. And I'm just afraid of making new memories, even with someone like you. And
it's so weird.
Like I everything about it was just great. Everything about it was just delicious. Like he could have put a pause in there any place and it would have helped. And Lindsay Lohan, the only thing she has to do in this movie is periodically make her eyes well up with tears, and she's on it.
She's on it. And honestly, so is Jake. I even wrote a note. I was so impressed that they had this reaction shot when Alejandra's talking to him. And she's basically like, you need to go out there and like, move on with your life. And they used the same reaction shot of him with like the tears in his eyes 3 times. Like he was so proud that he mustered these tears.
Oh my God. I did not clock that. This is going
to be in my Oscar footage. I need to make sure that everyone sees that I am sad and pouting. As I'm thinking about my dead wife it's only been 2 years, by the way. Like it takes a lot of time to process that kind of grief. And the mom and the daughter already like move on. And he's already like, he couldn't even like go buy a new angel for the tree. He has to use the same angel that he bought with his dead wife and have a new woman put up that angel with him. Like that is fucked.
And Alejandra is peeing herself with glee over this.
Oh yeah. She's like, I can't wait to have a new daughter. Can't wait for my daughter's memory to be completely replaced by this woman I met 4 days ago. If I was his dead wife, whose name, by the way, is never mentioned.
Never. Like, she doesn't have a name.
Livid. I would be haunting the fuck out of this family. I'd be like, how dare you replace me so quickly? You've already forgotten me. You don't say my name. My daughter's like, time to move on, daddy. My mom is like, wow, you're more beautiful than my daughter. And my husband, who is already falling in love with this woman he just met and is taking our angel and hanging it on the tree.
And having her, literally, he comes out and he says, because she's going to leave. And she says, there's been a change of plans. And he comes out and he says, yes, there has been a change of plans. And he's holding that angel. And he says, please stay and help me put the angel on the top of the tree. You're the only person I would want to do this with, Jake.
Oh my God.
There's not one other person you'd rather be here to put the angel on the top of the tree, and is she or is she not the mother of your child? Like, what the fuck, dude?
This is the worst betrayal. Like that is like so fucking cold. So cold.
It's good. It's so good.
Oh my God. I was like, Jake is the most evil person in this movie.
It's so good. Okay, so now he's like, also, am totally on board with party. Let's make some flyers together. And then we finally cut back to Tad. I know, listener, it's been too long.
Like multiple notes of like, where is Tad? What's going on with Tad? I'm so sick of this main storyline. I'm very stressed out that Tad is dead because we haven't heard from him in so many days. And it turns out he's just eating spicy beans.
He's eating beans by the fire. I don't know. Was this like a Blazing Saddles callback?
I don't know what they were doing
in a different way
by this scene.
I don't know.
had a lot of questions. It was weird that like the beans were that spicy. And that Tad, who is supposedly like, if he's an influencer, he's probably like been out to a lot of like fancy restaurants, and we all
Yeah.
like, I'm sure he has like a pretty developed palate
Hmm.
because he's into like fancy food. So how has he not eaten spicy food before? I don't know. It doesn't track.
I don't know. And this is where he offers to make Ralph the survival blog. And I was certain about it, but I should have known when they did this bean thing that like there was no sex to be had here. And
No.
I didn't know. I was like,
Yeah.
surely Netflix wouldn't do that to me. Surely.
They're like, what's the most unsexy food that someone could be eating? How about spicy beans?
Spicy
Just so that you
beans.
know that there is no butt sex occurring.
Think about
off
how
screen.
they're gonna smell later, you guys. Yeah.
Just so you know that even after we cut away from the scene, it's not sexy.
Ugh. I didn't realize it. I was just so hopeful, is what I was. Now, Alejandra, the grandmother, buys Lindsay Lohan a slutty red dress. And I liked it.
I know. I was like, all right, Granny, get your son laid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that dress, she looked fucking fabulous in that dress. Oh my God. Her boobs were, I was just like, I can see it. It's one of those a lot of times in movies where they have the main character come down in their like transformation makeover
Yeah.
dress. I'm like,
It's fine.
okay,
Yeah.
fine. Like they looked fabulous the rest of the movie, but in this one, I was like, oh damn, okay, I would fall in love with her wearing this dress.
For
And then
sure.
they immediately cover it up with like this hideous baggy sequin blazer.
I've never been more angry at a garment of clothing in my life. Like,
And it's not even that's covering up her amazing rack. It's just so ugly. It doesn't match the rest of the outfit. It was the wrong choice.
everything about it. And like my favorite thing though is that she makes sure to make her entrance in just the spaghetti strap red, my boobs are, just on a shelf right here for you dress. And then afterwards, she puts on this terrible sequin blazer situation. And I was like, you know what? At least she knew. She knew how good she looked. And she was going to make sure that Jake saw her in just the dress at least one time.
I know, but like honestly, for the rest of us watching this movie, why?
Why?
Was it too slutty? Were they like, oh no, like it's not wholesome if we show how like then don't cast Lindsay Lohan. Like don't put someone that hot in your movie if you're not going to use her to her fullest extent.
Yeah. Give me the shoulder footage, Netflix. Okay?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, I'm offended.
I know. He says she looks beautiful, and then they have this awkward moment because Alejandra, who is, I guess, the best wing grandma ever, is like, Avi, come make fictional hors d'oeuvres with me. Bye. And takes the daughter out of the room. So they end up trying out the dance floor. And she says, oh, I bet people will be coming soon. And he says, is it weird if I say I don't really want them to? And then they almost kiss, but then the gregarious mayor walks in and his voice booms across the dance floor because the whole town is here now.
Yes.
It's time to have a party.
I do like that they explained the fact that everybody was late is that they were all stuck behind a snowplow, which, again, from a writing perspective, I was like, you know what? I buy it. Like,
Fair.
You've filled in this plot hole sufficiently enough for me to be okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then she says that he needs to do a speech. And she apparently has not spoken to him about said speech at all, even though this is supposed to be a sneaky fundraiser.
Right.
He's like, I have no idea what I would say.
And how many days? Do we know how many days they had to prepare for this? Like, how many days have passed?
I don't know.
The fundraiser?
I don't know. I feel like 2, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So like
enough.
They technically had time to prepare a speech and everything. And they didn't talk about it. I don't know. I mean, the whole fundraiser thing is a pretty cheesy plot line, but I honestly can't even be mad about it because it's the exact same plot line that I used for Midnight Duet, where Francis saves Opera House by holding a charity concert. So I'm like,
I like it.
Let this slide here.
Yeah, but at least there's an actual activity that people are paying money to see.
Right, yeah.
You
And also,
know?
what is the dress code of this event? Because there were some of those guests showed up in full black tie, ball gown attire, like a
One lady
tuxedo.
was in her wedding dress, okay?
Yes. Yeah, no, they were like that was the couple that has initially said that they were too poor to stay there. So then they've clearly like made it rich now.
Yeah,
So I actually had a lot of questions about their characters. Like they put the as extras, like put the effort into their backstories. They came up with the whole thing.
they did.
Everybody else just showed up in like business casual office wear and like a Carhartt jacket.
Yes. No, she was dressed in her wedding dress. He was dressed like Mr. Peanut, and everybody was working it. It was nuts. So he like doesn't even say out loud that the inn is having trouble. He's like, there's a situation with the inn, and then like a random dad from town is like, oh God, let's make this stop. Let's put this fucker out of his misery. And so he comes out of the crowd and is like, you gave my absolutely tragic son ski lessons for years and I never paid you. So here's some monies for payment times. And Jake's like, oh my God. And it's actual parchment paper. Like it's like it seems like these checks are like they took the paper out of the front of like Bibles that were in an old hotel. And like they're so flimsy. I don't know what's happening. And then the the couple is like, you didn't charge us for our honeymoon when we were poor, and now he's dressed like Mr. Peanut. So like, open up your pockets. And then the mayor's like, not only am I making a personal contribution, but this is now a historical landmark.
Yeah, this is what is interesting to me is like he lets these people donate all this money and then he's like, by the way, you didn't even need to do this because we could have easily just designated this as a historical landmark this entire time. A very simple solution that could have been arranged. Like if you like,
Yeah.
like, we could have solved this problem. Like the money just seems superfluous at that point.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, we can use this money for renovations. Okay.
Great. Great
Maybe
stuff.
you could hire a housekeeper.
Well, Jen, stop talking sense. All right. Don't do that. Not in this house.
Tad and I have a business plan for this hotel.
It's true.
We're turning it around.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, I have to. Oh, meanwhile, the dad has come home a while ago. And he's like, I'm sorry. Nobody's seen my daughter in 4 fucking days. What's happening around here? And at the sheriff's, oh my God. Now we go back to the sheriff's office because he has found Ralph's note that says, we're hiking to the road in the pass. Please save us. Ralph.
It also makes no sense. Like, why? Did he want to be saved? Like,
I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I thought it was a random like excursion that Ralph planned so that he could worm his way into Tad's heart. And apparently not. Apparently they're just disaster assholes. I don't know.
but like if Ralph knew that he was wanted for the horrific crime of quote poaching on government land, which we actually never see happen. Was the ice fishing supposed to be poaching?
I don't think that's poaching. Maybe. Listen, fishermen, get at us.
I don't know enough about fish and wildlife law.
Yeah, I thought that was just for mammal, like land animals.
Where do you where do you go hunting then, if not government land? Private land?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, well, but so maybe it's just having to do with like permits and seasons, you know?
So they've spent like all of their one sheriff resources trying to track down this man who didn't pay for a fishing permit.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that sounds
He's
right.
Recurring, like he's got a known record of not paying for his fishing permit.
Yeah, he's a criminal.
To the point where they need to put him in handcuffs.
So they bring Ralph into the sheriff's office in handcuffs, and Tad is flitting around behind him, being like, this man is a hero. He saved my life. You cannot arrest him. He needs a medal. Like, he is going so hard for Ralph's honor. And the dad is like, oh, hello, I'm here too. The fuck, man? Where's my daughter? Yeah. And Tad's like, I don't know. And the sheriff's like, don't worry, everyone. I know where she is. And so they go, oh, and then Ralph is forced because Tad tells the dad that they're engaged. And Ralph is forced to put all of his feelings aside and congratulate Tad on his engagement to another person.
Right.
And I thought that was
it
just
so
cruel.
heartbreaking. Yeah. And then Tad just like abandons him. He's like, don't lock him up. Bye. They don't even like exchange numbers, nothing. And also, just did not track to me that like Tad doesn't even mention that his fiance is like possibly dead.
Yeah.
Until we see the dad be like, where's my daughter? And then you see like the amazing acting from the guy who plays Tad. Like that quick second, like, oh fuck. I forgot about my fiance because I was so in love with Ralph and I might be held criminally liable for her potential death.
Oh, I know. It's because of that nose wind that evil Santa did, Tad.
Honestly, the man who played Tad deserves every award because that was some subtle that he was doing everything with the very little that they gave him.
He was making the most of it. So then Ralph just like shouts on his way out the door, let's keep in touch, when really he wants to be shouting like, love watching you walk away, but he can't.
I love you. And then Tad turns around and is like, I love you too. And he runs back. And no, that doesn't happen. They cut it out.
So they go to the party. And as knockoff Chris Hemsworth is introducing Sarah, the dad says, Sierra. And
she's like, this name that sounds totally different has suddenly triggered all of my memories.
And my name, have name is Sierra. Like, oh my God. And she's like, and then she looks at Tad and she says, who are you? And he says, your fiance, and puts the ring back on her finger. And then she's like, and I'm your daughter. And the dad's like, yeah, you are. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then she's like, so I was skiing and then I fell and then I bumped my head and then I ended up here with you, Jake, with you. And the dad also does one of the best lines in the movie because he goes, I have no idea what has transpired here, but it does seem like you've taken good care of my daughter. As they're just staring longingly into each other's eyes. I have no idea what has transpired here. Gotta go.
I mean, the dad is actually probably the most like realistic character in the movie. Like he's just trying to run his business. He's trying to like help out his daughter with a little friendly nepotism because he knows that she's kind of useless at this point.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm the only person who's like legitimately concerned that my daughter is missing and possibly dead. Like no one else is taking this seriously. And so I think it's completely understandable.
Yeah. And the next morning, nobody can recognize her because she's made her bed. She doesn't want the fancy Milan onesie. She wants to make her own breakfast instead of eating caviar in the morning. That's not a thing, right? People can't eat caviar for breakfast, right?
I don't think that I didn't really get the impression that she ate a lot of meals. Like it just didn't seem like her lifestyle. And I mean, she's waking up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's okay.
Oh, I did not think about that, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like well into midday based on like the footage that they used, the stock footage they used prior to that. Yeah. But I do want to mention that I love the line where she's like, I'm helping out the housekeepers. It is Christmas after all, because I would never do anything to help out the staff the rest of the year. Like that'd be horrible.
It's so good.
She's making her bed, which actually it makes more work for the housekeepers because theoretically they have to change the linen.
They have to change everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so she goes and she does flip a pumpkin pancake in front of Tad, and Tad is horrified. Tad is like, what pod person has taken over your body? I don't understand. He has his hair shellacked into this it's like a cross between a finger wave and like a Cary Grant hairstyle.
Is this where he looks like evil Cinderella prince? Because it is so hot.
Yes.
He looks fucking amazing. That suit that he's wearing is perfectly tailored to him. He's got the hashtag Jefferson Jewels, like blood diamonds, sort of thing going, like brooch.
Yes.
I don't know what that was. And I loved it. I loved this whole look that he had. Like he was giving you the perfect Christmas, like evil Christmas villain outfit.
Yeah, absolutely. Cruella DeVille's cousin at Christmas time.
It was amazing. And the fact that Lindsay Lohan felt that an appropriate casual I'm a poor person now outfit was just bell bottoms and this hideous double-breasted plaid blazer. I was like, I feel like if you're gonna go poor, you should be trendy about it. Like it's insulting.
Yeah. We look great, us poors. Okay.
Yeah, Old Navy is right there.
Thank you. They will give you jeans up to your tits. All right.
They will.
And that's a miracle. That's a fucking Christmas miracle, Lindsay Lohan. Anyway,
Yes.
so they do a press conference, I guess, because apparently now people care about her ordeal. And she plugs the inn hard. She's like, I stayed at the inn. That was the North Star Inn. Do I need to repeat that again? Nort. Okay, you got it. Cool. And then they announce the engagement. Her dad is appropriately horrified. Then it's like over. And the Jake has been watching it, and so he's like sad panda, and he's gonna go sit down and mope. And the daughter's like, I wished my Christmas wish was you having someone to love and someone to take care of you. And he's like, oh, you wasted your wish on me? And she's like, yeah, like Sarah could love you. Have you told her how you feel about her? And he's like, no, it's complicated. And she's like, no, it's not. You use your mouth and your vocal cords, tiny bit of diaphragm action, and you make it work. And he's like, you're right. Oh my God. And
yes, that was more creepiness. And then when he's like, oh, we need a Christmas miracle. I'm like, bitch, you just got 2 Christmas miracles. They dedicated your hotel as a historical site. And then they gave you all this money, and you're so ungrateful that you're like, we still need more. If your hotel is in that bad of shape, you have to have 3 miracles just to keep it alive. Look inside yourself.
Seriously.
Meanwhile, Tad is here with like the ultimate like influencing thing. Like, I'm taking her to an undisclosed location after almost getting her killed by taking her to an undisclosed location for our proposal.
Yes.
I will now be taking her to an undisclosed location for our post proposal.
Yep.
And I'm intrigued.
Yeah, make sure you follow at Tad Fairchild to find out where we end up.
I absolutely would. I was like, this is actually intriguing. I think there's a future there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's going to take her to a beach, and she is not having it. She does break up with him on the spot.
Yeah. At this point, again, no evidence whatsoever of anything that happened to his character up until now. Like, the whole survival plot is completely wiped away. He is back to the old Tad. Mm-hmm. He's not even like talking to her about like taking her to a cabin in the woods or like how great baked beans are. Nothing. Ralph has been completely forgotten.
Erased from his memory. Like, they Men in Blacked him. It's ridiculous.
That part was very upsetting to me.
Yeah, because then they're just like, oh, did you want some gay stuff? Look, Tad ends up with Terry, the PA, who's terrible at everything and has no personality.
And he doesn't even have a character. He has 4 lines in the whole movie, and it's just like him being completely bewildered by his job, one and only job.
Yeah, and like flailing.
Yeah. And then Tad's just like, you look a little gay. I guess I'm a little gay now, thanks to those snow boots.
Yeah.
Let's be together. I don't know. At first, I wasn't even sure if it was like romantically coded or whether he was just like, oh, like I need a glam squad. But
I know, I couldn't tell either.
What were they going for here? Like a token?
I don't know.
Like, you can have a gay romance when Ralph was right there. If you were going to give us a gay romance, why not Ralph?
If I was writing this thing, he would have commandeered that stretch Hummer, tracked Ralph down to his house, and been like, I want to make fishing lures with you for the rest of my life and put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's what please be my bear, Ralph. That's what I want.
This is where I was just infuriated. I was like, justice for Tad. Tad's character has been wronged here. This is just like the worst way to finish off this plot line. Everything about it is just so offensive to me.
Hashtag Tad and Ralph forever.
Yes, forever.
Forever. So the creepy Father Christmas does give them that sleigh that they can't afford. And Balthazar musters the energy to get them to the hotel where Lindsay Lohan is at. He does express his feelings. He tells that stretch Hummer how much he's falling in love with it. And then the window rolls down and Tad's like, see you later. And Terry like pops his head into the frame and is like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Bye. And it's so confusing.
Inexplicable. But I do like that he calls it, that Jake calls a stretch Hummer a car. Like, he's just such a country bumpkin. He's just like, I'm talking to a car.
It's just like, biggest car. Yeah. He's the Brontosaurus of cars.
And he's just like so not smart.
I know. I mean, at least he's consistent though, right?
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So then he goes around back and Lindsay Lohan is standing there at a Christmas tree, and he's like, I thought you left. And she's like, no, I told my dad that I was going to stay here. And dad talked about investing in your thing. But I said, oh, he probably wouldn't want that. But I will try to talk you into it over the holidays if you want to spend the holidays with me. And then he tries to do a mistletoe on her. And she's just like,
has it?
yeah, and then he tries to make an amnesia joke at the same time, and he's like, I have this bush in my pocket, but I did bonk my head on the way over here and I can't remember what to do with it. And she's like, take your mistletoe and your dad jokes, I'm throwing them both over my shoulder, and we're just gonna make out like grown-ups. And he's like, wow, everything about this is incredible. And they're gonna do butt stuff props. I don't know,
man. I was just, I had to look to see if they even just use a body double for the kissing scene, because Lindsay Lohan was just like, I'm not doing this.
I can't and I won't.
It's in my writer. It's in my writer that you can't put stuff on my face, and I'm not kissing that man.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's bad for my public image. I cannot be seen kissing anyone that average. Just aggressively he has the most forgettable face. He just looks kind of like a slightly bloated, like grown-up child actor.
It's true.
And this is talking about somebody who's starring against Lindsay Lohan, who, like she has come through. She is an example of how you can turn it around and still be incredibly hot. And then they get this guy. It's just so upsetting. Yeah.
And then the last two lines of the film, I did write them down verbatim. They are, oh no, it's on the next page. Ugh, look, I'm flipping for this. Okay. It is, he says, what a Christmas, guys. And she says, yeah, it's one I'll never forget.
Oh yeah, that was great though. I was like,
what a Christmas, guys. Is how you're going to talk to your future father-in-law the first time you meet him. What a Christmas, guys. Wow.
It's one I'll never forget. Memory joke. Oh,
yeah, that was a great line, but having it preceded by what a Christmas, guys was just a crime.
It was, yeah.
Anyway.
I think that at this point, the writers had given up. They were like, we wrote this amazing storyline for Tad and Ralph. It was left on the cutting room floor. We're still getting paid anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah. So I read A Merry Little Meet Cute a few weeks ago because I was having Sierra and Julie on, and loved it, by the way. I don't know if you've read it, but I think you would like it. And then, but one of the like the small things that keep on getting threaded through is that they're doing this Hallmark movie, but the writer still doesn't know how it's going to end. And she apparently just like keeps on writing the last page and then like ripping it up and starting over again. And like, I don't know what this film is supposed to mean. And that's what it felt like with this movie, that like up until like this had to be ad-libbed because the writers could not decide how it should end.
I'm a big advocate for putting a really cheesy closing line. Like,
same.
I think both my books have one. I'm like, I'm into it. Like,
I love it.
You got to end on a cheesy note. Like, you
absolutely, yes. And if it can be a callback, it absolutely should be. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I do like the fact that he referenced the memory, like, oh, we're referencing that this is an amnesia-based thing. I honestly think there should have been more memory-based jokes in this movie. Like, they could have gone much deeper and much darker, honestly. I mean, there was a lot of missed opportunity. This had it could have been the most extra, like, ridiculous Christmas movie that was just completely unhinged. Like they could have gone over the top and really sold it to us as this tongue-in-cheek.
It could have been fun of it. Yeah, it could have been the next Princess Switch. That's what I was hoping for.
Yes, and honestly, if they had followed through with that Ralph and Tad plotline, I would have been like, this is actually very fresh. Like they took it in a different direction than we expected. It is really, it's not super. It felt like it wasn't just cookie cutter trope stuff like the rest of the movie was.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But I did enjoy myself.
I had a great time. And I want to applaud that they found one more use for that drone shot of the hotel pool as they flew away. Just one more.
Those ski bunnies were working it. I'll tell you that much.
They were the best actors in this movie.
It is so good. Oh God, it was so good. Okay. What's your lady love?
Okay. So this year, my whole thing has just been like just trying to like live the life that I would have wanted to live when I was 15. So
Mm.
I went out and I got my first like ever real piercing. I went and got my septum pierced, and I feel like like it is better than like a facelift because God knows who can
Absolutely.
afford those like injections. They're like 700 bucks a pop, you know? And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
as I've, I just turned 36 and I'm like, I'm starting to feel kind of old. And I got this septum piercing and I was like, I feel so much hotter now. Like
Aw.
I know it's kind of old to be getting like new piercings, but I think that people should just go out and like get that tattoo, get that piercing, get that
Mhm.
undercut, do something like a little bad that like seems kind of ridiculous because like you're not going out to the club. I mean, we're barely going out to Old Navy at this point, but just do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Live,
That's
live
how I
your
felt
15-year-old
when I
dreams.
got these two. I got them like while the podcast was going, and so they've heard about all of this. Like, I took my toddler to the piercing parlor, and it was in Portland.
Yeah, where'd you go?
I went to of course, it's got a really cute name. God damn it! There's one on the east side and one on the west side.
Was it Adorn? 'Cause
Yes,
Adorn,
it was
that's
Adorn.
where I went. Yeah. So
Yes,
this is now a plug for Adorn Body Piercing. They do an amazing job. They're super professional,
they're
really
so
nice.
good. Yeah, and they're all
That's
like
actually where I got
certified
my
piercers.
first tattoo when I was 18. So
Nice,
bringing it full circle.
nice. Yeah, and I was like, I might be walking in here in a pea coat with a toddler, but like, I'm gonna be cool, everyone. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
think
walk
there's
out of here
no
cool.
age cutoff for looking cool. It's
No.
never too late to be as hot and cool as you always wanted to be when you're younger, but now you
Mhm.
can afford it and don't have to ask for parental permission.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I like that one. Mine is these Old Navy pants that you can pull all the way up to your chin, and it is a thing of beauty. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little bit obsessed with them. They're all button all the way up instead of a zipper situation.
Hmm.
So that's pretty fun too. Anyway,
As someone who
um,
has to pee like all the time, though, that is daunting for me because I'm just like, I know I'm going to miss one of those buttons on like my 7th trip to the bathroom, and I'm not going
no,
to notice
I
until I
thought
feel
so
a cold breeze.
too. I thought so too, but it's one of those where like if you pull it down at the same angle you would opening your pants with a zipper, they just go brrr, all the way down. So
But it's getting
you
them
know.
buttoned back up afterwards, getting all 7
Oh.
buttons or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I actually haven't. Ooh.
But I know that Old Navy makes the super high waist zip up. They make those in zip up as well, and in
Yeah.
all the different cuts.
Yeah.
Because that is also where I buy my jeans. Although American
Nice.
Eagle also has great jeans as well. And I also don't really wear jeans anymore. Just
It's all
stretchy
athleisure over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did
Got my-
decide that I needed a pair of hard pants that fit.
Just for special occasions like Christmas
Uh-huh.
Day.
For like
To wear with
birthday
your plaid
parties.
blazer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I get my double-breasted plaid blazer out. Absolutely.
Well, what else are you gonna wear to flip that one pancake, Melody?
These are the questions. These are the questions of life. Oh, and then it goes out to Jingle Bell Rock. I forgot to say that. Her singing
Yes.
Jingle Bell Rock, and it's great.
Another thing that we were robbed of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jen, where can they find you online?
You can find me on jencomfort.com, which is my website, and I have links to all my social media. But most of these days, I'm on Instagram at jen.comfort.author, where you can
Nice.
see 1,000 pictures of my cats and occasionally me talking about my books, which is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I know, but it's so distracting, you know, the cats. You got to give them
Yeah.
love.
I don't know what else
I
to
get
take
that.
pictures of. So it's just mostly me shit posting and cats and an occasional doing my job of, oh, by the way, I'm an author and have these books. Read
Yeah, I
them
love
or
it.
something.
I love it.
Anyway, here's a cat.
Oh, yes, please. Ooh, everybody on Patreon can see her beautiful orange cat.
Yes, this is my foster cat, Saturn. He is 6 months
Aw.
old and he is a lover.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy.
It's a
Like,
good
only
sized
6
cat.
months, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
see how big this
seriously.
one becomes.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
Hi, monster friend. What's going on?
I need a pencil.
You need a pencil? I'm literally the only adult who can't get you a pencil right now, love. Is Dad upstairs? He's peeing. Okay. He pees so fast. Can you please go ask him for a pencil? Thank you, my love. Great job doing your homework.
Well, at least Dad doesn't have to button up 7 buttons when
It's
he's done.
much
peeing.
faster
So
for
he's
him.
Very efficient.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, we have to come up at the end of the show. We usually end with keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love blank, blank, blank funny thing from the episode.
Tad.
I mean,
I love
Yeah.
Tad so much.
Yeah.
Tad's who I want to be when I grow up.
what were the funny things he said, though? Let me look.
In
Oh,
the
I
coffee
know.
shop of life, you're a
Yes.
venti.
Yes. Okay. All right. You say keep being a badass, and I'll say the rest of it, okay?
Okay. Keep
right.
being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love being a venti in the coffee shop of life.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Tad. God. Dreamboat.
Icon.